Right then, let's talk about that dreaded Ofsted inspection. We're going to break down the big red flags that inspectors can spot from a mile off, the things that make them wince. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own provision, so let's get straight into it.
Oh, you know that feeling, don't you? The phone rings, it's Ofsted. That little jolt of panic. But look, being ready for them isn't about a frantic dash to hide the dodgy paperwork. It's actually about knowing what real quality looks like, and more importantly, spotting your own weaknesses before they do.
Okay, so where does an inspector start looking for trouble? Well, the first port of call is almost always the apprentices themselves, having a chat with the learners. And honestly, what they say, or maybe more to the point, what they can't say, is pretty much the ultimate test of how good your program really is.
And it often starts with a question as simple as this one. It's so open, isn't it? So friendly. But it's actually really clever because it's designed to cut right through any pre-rehearsed corporate nonsense. It forces the learner to think on their feet, and that genuine, unscripted answer, well, that tells an inspector pretty much everything they need to know.
And you can see the difference a mile off, can't you? The answers you get are just night and day. On one side, you get that vague waffle. Oh, we covered some topics. That's a massive red flag that the learning just isn't sticking. But on the other side, you've got a learner who can clearly explain not just what they've been learning, but how they're actually using it to be better at their job. That right there is the gold standard.
And here's another classic that makes an inspector's ears prick up. I'm just doing stuff I already knew. Ouch! That screams weak initial assessment. Look, the whole point is to properly recognize what they can already do, recognition of prior learning, and then build on it. It's not rocket science, is it? It just means you respect their time and aren't boring them to tears.
Off-the-job training. Is it a proper, meaningful part of the learning, or is it just a box-ticking nightmare? If an apprentice says, "Oh, we just log our hours," you know you're in trouble. The whole thing's a dog's dinner. What you want to hear is them talking about actual structured learning, workshops, projects, mentoring. That's when you know you're onto a winner.
Now let's be absolutely crystal clear about this next one, because there is zero wiggle room here. Every single learner has to know about safeguarding and the prevent duty. If they can't explain the basics, it's not just a red flag, it's a massive, non-negotiable failure. End of story.
Right, so we've heard from the learners. The next big thing on the checklist is the program design itself. We're zooming out to look at the curriculum. Is it a logical, well-thought-out plan, or is it, well, a bit balmy? Trust me, an inspector can spot a messy curriculum from 100 paces. Let's talk about progress reviews. Are they just a bit of paperwork, a quick signature and a check on attendance, or are they a proper, meaty conversation about what the apprentice is learning, how they're applying it, and the real difference it's making at work? You can guess which one Ofsted wants to see.
A really good curriculum just makes sense. It's got a logical flow to it. You start with the foundations, right? Building that core knowledge. Then you move on to actually applying it, turning that knowledge into real skills. And finally, you integrate it all, making it a natural part of their day-to-day job. It's a simple path that builds real competence.
Now this is a subtle one, but is absolutely crucial. Is everything you're doing just about getting the learner to pass the next assignment? Or are the assignments there to let the learner show off what they've already learned? See the difference? One is teaching to the test. The other is about genuine, deep learning.
And look, the learning has to feel real, right? Because if it's all just dry theory from a textbook, people are going to switch off. It's just human nature. So the best providers bring it to life. They use real case studies, they set tasks based on actual projects from the workplace, and they run simulations. It makes all the difference.
Okay, so we've looked at the learners and the plan. Now let's talk about who's actually steering the ship. This is all about the people involved, the leadership, the coaches, and of course, the employers.
An inspector can spot a disengaged employer a mile off. You know the type, right? All fur coat and no knickers. They can't really explain the program, they don't have a clue how their apprentice is getting on, it's just the name on a form. What you're aiming for is the bee's knees, a proper partner who's involved in reviews, gives them real projects, and actually mentors them.
Then you've got the coach. Now, if a coach can't tell you about their learners' strengths, what they struggle with, or even what their day-to-day job is, that's a massive problem. It shows the relationship just isn't there. A real coaching champion knows their learners inside out. They know their progress, their job role, and exactly what support they need to succeed. And when inspectors talk to the people at the top, they're listening very, very carefully. What are the leaders obsessed with? Is it all about completion rates and funding rules? That's a compliance-driven culture. Or Are they talking passionately about the quality of the curriculum, about how learners are progressing, and how they can make the teaching even better? That's what a quality-driven culture sounds like. Right, we've covered a lot, but now we get to the really serious stuff. The 3 cardinal sins. These are the absolute deal breakers, the things you simply must avoid. Get one of these wrong, and your inspection could be over before it's even really begun.
Yep, just 3. 3 things that are so fundamental, so important, that if they're not right, it's pretty much impossible to come back from.
So what are they? Number 1, learners just aren't making progress. I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? If they're not learning new skills, the whole thing is a failure. Number 2, weak safeguarding. This isn't just about quality, this is a serious safety risk. It's an immediate, massive concern. And number 3, the employers are completely disengaged. If they're just a ghost in the machine, then it's not a real apprenticeship, is it? It's just a course. Any one of these can land you in very hot water.
Okay, enough of the scary stuff. Let's not get too depressed. Let's talk about your get-out-of-jail-free card. How do you actually stay on the right side of Ofsted and avoid all these problems in the first place?
Honestly, solid data is your best mate here. Having systems that can show you at a glance how progress reviews are going, whether off-the-job training is happening meaningfully, and who might be struggling, that's not just good management, that's your proof. It shows an inspector you're on top of things, that you're proactive, not just waiting for things to go wrong.
And this one is for the leaders out there. You have to be able to tell the story of your curriculum. And it's as simple as this. Intent. Why are you doing it this way? Implementation. How are you actually delivering it? And impact. So what? What difference is it actually making? If you can nail that story, you're showing you're not just going through the motions, you have a real strategy.
So there you have it, a quick tour inside an inspector's head. And it really just leaves one big question for you to think about. After hearing all this, when you look at your own provision, is it top-notch, or is it, let's be honest, a bit of a dog's dinner? Hopefully this has given you plenty to chew on. Thanks for joining me.